right, we're here at VRX 2018, the Enterprise VR conference in Boston. I'm here with Joshua Smith from Kaon Interactive. Josh, welcome. Thanks for your time.
Great to be here.
So Josh, why don't you just jump right into what Kaon is and what you do for your clients?
We create B2B sales and marketing applications for our clients. We work with really big companies who have global sales forces. They have enterprise problems that we have to solve. How do you get these applications out around the world? How do you track the analytics of how they're being used? How do you internationalize them? All of that kind of stuff. Our specialty is using 3D visualization within the context of product and solution storytelling. So we'll make 3D models of our customers' products, or we'll make 3D models of scenes that depict how our customers' products might work together. Like an information technology product, we might use a scene of a city and show the different, like there's a hospital there and there's a factory over there, and how these different solutions within that environment are going to work together. So for us, VR and AR are new features on an existing platform. We can take an existing 3D product model that we already deployed for that customer. Now they can use that in augmented reality and take that into a sales situation and show it to their customer in context. Or we can take an existing 3D product model on a website and let somebody sitting at home put on a headset and experience that 3D product model in their entire field of view in virtual reality instead of in a little postage stamp size on a website.
Can you give a specific example of like something you're doing now for a client where VR or AR could enhance that situation?
Sure. So let's say take AR as an example. One of the verticals that we serve is the medical and diagnostic equipment companies. So these companies make, let's say, blood analyzers, and they're going to go into a hospital and they're going to go into the lab, and they want to show the person running that lab how their blood analyzer would look from just a physical footprint standpoint in that lab to displace whatever custom, other piece of equipment is there. So using augmented reality, they can actually take a step back, look through, let's say, the iPad screen, and view that 3D model of that blood analyzer in that context, and then run animations and walk around and see how the thing works and where's the workflow and how are all these pieces working together. In augmented reality, driving a end user experience is much more compelling than just trying to imagine that with a 2D floor plan that you might have drawn in a PowerPoint.
And with animations and visualizations, you're able to convey a story?
Absolutely. So we're doing sales and marketing is all about telling stories. So it's about, if you have a router and your competitor has a router, it's not really they're not that different from each other. What's different is the company story or the set of solutions that tie that router together with everything else that your company sells. And so telling stories is the only thing. That's the only thing you need to do. And doing that using 3D visualization is very compelling because the end users are going to get an emotional connection to the products. Even though it seems a little weird that you get an emotional connection to a router, you do. And you feel like, I've seen it, I understand what that thing does, I understand why I want to buy it from this company instead of from that company because of the overall solution that company is offering using that piece of equipment.
And that emotional connection is something that's added with that VR, AR layer.
It's right. You get different levels of emotional connection. You get no connection at all from a PowerPoint, right? You get a little bit more of a connection if you can have a 3D visualization on a website that you can move with a mouse. That connection gets a little better when you move to an iPad or a personal, like an iPhone, and I'm looking at the 3D product model and I'm moving it with my finger and it's at retina resolution. Now that connection is stronger. If I put that into augmented reality and I see it in context of my own lab or my own house or whatever it is I'm selling, that connection is even stronger. And if you can get it all the way into virtual reality where you've taken away the entire outside world and the only thing that the person is focusing on is that one thing, that one product, the emotional connection is strongest.
Are there any industries that you're currently in that you didn't really expect for VR or AR to be able to help, but you've recently found newer use cases?
All of our customers are asking about VR and AR because they're hot technologies. I think the thing that's been interesting for me is that we solve customer problems. We have a platform. We know how to solve these problems. You sometimes want to get in the door with a customer by doing the thing that they're most interested in, even if it isn't necessarily the thing that's going to solve their problem. Because once they've seen, they asked us to come in and solve their AR problem, and we can do that. But when we get there, we find they don't have an AR problem. They have a sales problem. And they need to deploy applications, and they need to have compelling, they need a good story, and they need to be able to sell effectively. AR is a piece of that, but AR is not a solution, it's a feature. And VR is not a solution, it's a feature. It's a way of telling that story in one more venue, in one more way that could help the top line.
And so it almost sounds like you would rather your clients come to and say, hey, we're trying to sell this, how can we do it? As opposed to coming to you and saying, hey, we want to do VR, or hey, we want to do AR.
Well, if the client comes to us, I'm happy. I don't care what question they ask. But ultimately, that is the case. That they're coming to us to help them create sales experiences that work and that can be maintained. And we solve enterprise problems. We're not worried about making a demo for a show. Yep. We don't do that. We create an application that's going to be deployed and maintained for a long time. And that application needs to be on lots of touch points, on lots of, if it's going to be running on your website, there's no AR on the web right now. Maybe there will be eventually, but there's no AR at all. There's only VR. And if you're on tablets, there may be AR, but there's no VR there. So you're going to have to deploy something that's going to be effective at all those customer touch points. Some of those may have AR, some of those may have VR.
And you've spent a lot of time trying to make sure it's able on web VR and not just on something like the Oculus or Vive, to where it's easily accessible. Yeah,
well, that's a technology choice that we made when the VR headsets were starting to become available. Our first one that we deployed on was Oculus, but we didn't deploy on Oculus's stack. We deployed on what they call the Open VR stack. So we used an experimental build of Chromium and WebVR technology and Oculus to create applications, because we knew that in a couple of years we didn't know. We don't know. You never know who's going to win, but you know that you're taking a risk if you tie yourself to one stack. So if we had built on top of that, or if we built on top of the Gear stack that the Oculus Go is using, maybe we'd have something that was still viable in a while, but maybe we wouldn't. Whereas we were able to, when Edge came out and the mixed reality headsets, Windows mixed reality headsets came out, which are fantastic, and they have the inside-out tracking, we were able to immediately support them, change a few lines of code here and there because the controllers work a little different, and our applications are now working there. So it gave us, it's the reason you use open standards. It gave us the agility to make sure that our customers' applications would be working on the latest, greatest platform, whatever that happens to be. We love WebVR.
And you have a wide variety of clients. Are there any that you're able to talk about, or at least describe the different types of industries that you do work with?
Yeah, the three industries the three verticals that we go after are high tech. So that's computers and peripherals, networking equipment. So that's customers like Cisco and Dell and HP and IBM, those guys. And then we go after medical and diagnostic equipment. So that's companies like Abbott and Becton Dickinson, and then we do heavy industrial stuff that where there's a compelling use case for 3D because the stuff they sell is just too big. You can't take it to a client site. So that's companies like GE or Schneider Electric or Legrand. So those are the main verticals, but that's huge.
What kind of industrial are we talking about? Are we talking about parts for like a manufacturing plant, nuclear?
Yeah, it could be anything, but so we do a lot of work with GE Measurement and Control, and they create products that are used at, let's say, oil refineries. And so we can show how, let's say it's a flow meter. So it's a big old contraption that is on a pipe, and it tells them how much stuff is going through the pipe, right? And when they go into a sales situation, they have to explain how that works. And it's actually really cool. They use audio waves, and the flowing liquids slow down the audio or speed it up depending upon. So we created animations that demonstrate how those things work. And we deploy those animations so that they could go and on their iPad say, okay, this is how our flow meters work, and explain it to their customer and be an expert, even if they weren't an expert. And now, using AR, they can actually walk out into the field and say, this is what it would look like there. And everything is real size and real scale, and they can show the animation out there in the middle of an actual refinery.
Right. And then just show where this would fit, or...
everything. All the animations, everything that we've done in 3D, you can now do in augmented reality, just walking around with your iPad.
So is that walking around in a plant, or are we talking about going out into a field? What does this building look like?
It could be either. I mean, on mobile devices, we're using AR Kit and AR Core. So our applications, obviously, we run on everything. We always have. And so we support both of those technologies for AR. They both work great inside and outside, as long as they can get a little something to fix their tracking on. Both of those technologies are great. And it depends on the situation, right? So you might be walking outside, you might be inside, you might be in a lab, you might be putting a circuit breaker up on a wall. AR Kit has just added the ability to do things on horizontal surfaces, so we're able to put some products on. One of our customers is Georgia Pacific. They make, you think of them as a wood products company, but they make the hand towel dispensers and all that stuff that dispense all of the wood products. So soap dispensers and hand towel dispensers and tissue dispensers, and now we can put that up on the wall, or their salesperson can put that up on the wall at the place that they're going to sell and say, this is what our product would look like in your bathroom, and do that using augmented reality.
And if any of your clients wanted to reach out to you to figure out if they do want to work with you, how would they do that? Or potential clients?
Yeah, potential clients. Our existing clients already talked to us.
There we go.
But new clients would just reach out to our website, kaon.com, kaon.com, and start there. You'll be able to find our products and solutions there and fill out a contact us form, and we'll get right back to you.
Excellent. And is there anything on Twitter or other social media that...
Yeah, so Marketing 3D is the Twitter, and I'm going to let the marketing person say the right name for Facebook.
Yep.
It's Kaon Interactive, Kaon Interactive, on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Excellent. Okay, and I just want to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you so much for listening. We would like to keep sharing more about VR and AR with you, so please consider a few dollars to our Patreon, linked in the show notes. The Virtuality Podcast is produced by Jason Parks and music by Rachel Dazinski. This podcast is in collaboration with Boston VR and Boston AR. Monthly meetups and events can be found on meetup.com. You can also follow us on Twitter @VirtualityCast and learn more at our website, Virtuality.show.